Welcome to today's Explainer. Imagine for a second that you're a newborn seal. You've just been born into literally one of the most unforgiving climates on Earth, surrounded by nothing but ice and freezing winds. And then, your mother just stops feeding you after like 12 days. Yeah, you heard that right. 12 days, and boom, the food supply completely cuts off. It's a pretty shocking scenario, right? It totally defies what we usually expect from mammalian parenting.
So that brings us right to a huge biological mystery. How on earth could a tiny baby possibly survive this? When the mother leaves, what's left behind is a newborn that, at least to us humans, looks completely helpless. It's all alone in this harsh, freezing environment. It has zero idea how to catch its own food, yet it somehow has to endure the brutal Arctic or subantarctic elements.
Okay, let's dive into this, because the reality actually gets even more extreme. If you thought 12 days was ridiculously short, well, some seal species, especially hooded seals, have one of the absolutely shortest nursing periods among all mammals. A hooded seal mother might nurse her pup for only around 4 days. Just 4 days before she takes off. Now sure, other seal species might take a few weeks, but whether it's 4 days or a few weeks, there's one incredible thing that holds true across all of these species.
The crucial secret linking these different seals together is actually the unique makeup of the mother's milk. It is absolutely loaded with fat, and I mean an enormous amount compared to ordinary mammal milk. This isn't just some minor nutritional quirk, it's a massive biological advantage. It's the secret weapon that completely changes how this animal grows and survives those critical first weeks of life.
And this brilliantly illustrates the huge difference between seals and other animals. Think about ordinary mammals for a second. They usually have this slow, steady growth over many months, right? They rely on a continuous, long-term milk supply. But the baby seal, because of that incredibly high-fat milk we just mentioned, it gains weight insanely fast. So instead of slowly growing over months and months, the baby seal basically packs on this remarkably thick layer of blubber in an incredibly short amount of time.
Eventually, though, the mother does stop nursing, and she leaves for good. Now, at first glance, that baby seal looks completely helpless out there on the ice. It obviously can't just chase after its mom, and it definitely can't go diving into the freezing water to start hunting like a fully grown adult. So, what exactly does it live on during this vulnerable in-between phase?
Let's move to and see how this builds, because that thick blubber it just rapidly packed on powers a brilliant three-step survival plan. First, that stored fat literally acts as a massive internal energy reserve. The pup lives right off of it. Second, it uses that energy to rest and stay warm. I mean, that blubber is vital insulation against the freezing water and icy air. And third, this stored up energy basically buys the baby seal the precious time it needs to actually develop the skills and physical strength to hunt. It spends this whole period just learning how to navigate its harsh environment, fueled entirely by its own internal reserves.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it reframes things. To us, a mother ditching her baby after a few days sounds incredibly risky, maybe even negligent by human standards, right? But in biology, this is what we call evolutionary efficiency. For seals living in these extreme environments, rapid growth is incredibly useful. The mother provides an enormous amount of energy in a really short window of time. By doing that, she makes sure the pup has a built-in food supply stored right inside its own body. It is an absolute marvel of biological engineering.
So this actually brings us to a really important practical takeaway today. When you see a lone baby seal just lying there on the ice or the shore, our human emotion instantly kicks in. We automatically assume, oh no, it's been abandoned, it needs rescuing. But listen, it is highly likely not abandoned at all. Its mother might just be out at sea hunting for her own food, or like we just learned, she may have already finished nursing completely. Depending on the species and the exact situation, a lone baby seal hanging out on the ice is a perfectly natural, necessary part of this biological cycle.
A tiny seal manages to survive one of the harshest environments on Earth, not because its mother patiently feeds it for months on end, but because she gives it enough high-fat milk to build its very own survival fuel. Nature doesn't always choose the longest strategy. Sometimes it chooses the fastest one. It really makes you wonder, if nature can engineer such a rapid, intense survival mechanism right out in the open on the ice, what other incredible evolutionary shortcuts are hiding right under our noses? Thanks so much for joining me on today's Explainer.